Good evening, Gotham, and welcome to the Nightly Noir. I'm your host, Maddie Microphone, and today we're bringing you the story of one of Batman's oldest adversaries, a mad scientist gone rogue. Hugo Strange, also known as Dr. Strange, worked as Blackgate's prison psychiatrist, as well as serving as a professor at Gotham University before having his tenure revoked due to increasingly radical ideas. When we asked Commissioner Jim Gordon about Dr. Strange's history, he had this to say. Hugo Strange was abandoned as a child and was raised in an orphanage in the Lower East Side of Gotham, not far from the infamous crime alley. Records show that he was a bright kid, but had a temper. No one really knows how he put himself through medical school, but then again, no one paid too much attention to him back then. After he developed an intense psychological profile of Batman, Dr. Hugo Strange was hired as a consultant for Gotham's police force. His primary focus was the capture of Batman. It was later revealed that Strange exploited this situation to gain access to classified documents involving the Batman, including his tactics, methods, witnesses, and even locations of his recent activities. While at this time, the profile of the vigilante was considered revolutionary, we now know that this was funded by an intense and unhealthy obsession with Batman. After a shoot-to-kill order was established for Batman, an altercation occurred in which Strange was accidentally shot into a river instead. His body was never recovered. Though presumed dead, Dr. Strange miraculously survived and shifted into more nefarious actions. His introduction to the criminal scene was through his development of a dense artificial fog that completely covered Gotham. This fog allowed him to rob banks unseen until Batman ultimately defeated and imprisoned him in Arkham Asylum. Unfortunately, Strange escaped Arkham and dropped off the police's radar. During this period of seclusion, Dr. Strange dedicated his life to experimenting on genetic mutation and psychological manipulation. We learned later that Strange moved to Europe where, despite having a very successful criminal career, he grew bored. Much like what we have heard from the Joker, without the challenge of Batman, Strange felt unfulfilled and stagnant. He believed that what defined him was not merely his success as a criminal, but he needed to prove himself worthy by defeating Batman. Strange then moved back to Gotham disguised as a one Dr. Todd Hunter, where he opened a mental hospital for the wealthy. Famous patrons of this hospital include Gotham's elite playboy, Bruce Wayne. To shed some more light on this brilliant yet tortured mind of Hugo Strange, here is our resident psychological expert, Dr. Sylvia Shrinker. Welcome, Dr. Sylvia Shrinker, and thank you for coming on the show.
You're welcome, thanks for having me.
So, can you explain the psychology of Hugo Strange for the viewers?
Of course. As stated before, he had a rough childhood being brought up in the Lower East Side of Gotham, close to Crime Alley. He was a bright child and went to medical school. He became a professor at Gotham University, but he was suspended after the school disagreed with Strange's radical ideas and theories. He developed two obsessions. First, he became obsessed with being the perfect human being. Second, he became obsessed with Batman, and in doing so, he wanted to become Batman. One of the most dangerous instances of this occurred when Strange came back from Europe. After becoming a successful criminal there, he came back solely for the honor of mentally dueling with Batman, as you've seen before. Strange figured out Batman's secret identity and decided to auction it off to Joker, Penguin, and Robert Thorne. As you, the viewers, are probably familiar, Robert Thorne was a crime boss back in the day.
Okay.
Yeah. He kidnapped Strange and tortured Strange to get Batman's identity. However, because Strange started to relate to Batman and wanted to become the better version of him, Strange held out and did not give up Batman's secret identity. Eventually, he was pronounced dead and tossed into the Gotham River. Strange survived, but the torture and near-death experience gave him schizophrenic episodes. Even still though, he plotted revenge against Thorne, causing Thorne to go insane and be sent to a sanitarium. Strange also helped Batman rescue Commissioner Gordon from the Joker. However, soon after Thorn was sent to the sanitarium, he was declared sane again and was released. So to complete his revenge against Thorn, Strange convinced Thorn that his political opponents for mayor, because Thorn was trying to run for mayor, were plotting against him. Thorn then snapped and shot one of them dead, and thus was sent to Blackgate Prison for life.
Wow, that is something. So, you said that he became obsessed with Batman and wanted to become him. Did he ever take any action or do anything to move towards that goal?
Yes, he did. Soon after his revenge on Thorn was complete, he started going after Batman's secret identity. Because Strange had not revealed Batman's identity even under torture, Strange felt Batman owed him. Strange thought that Batman would then relinquish his role as Batman to him because of this favor owed. Obviously, Batman didn't do that for good reason. So Strange captured Batman's alter ego. I don't know Batman's alter ego. Do you?
No, unfortunately I'm not privy to that information.
So let's just call him Bruno Wade.
Perfect.
So Strange brought Bruno to a replica of Bruno's house, complete with murderous robots of his butler and ward. Batman, however, overcame this and fought Strange in the replica Batcave. With help from Robin, Batman defeated Strange, forcing him to blow up the replica manor, seemingly killing himself, Strange, in the process. However, this Hugo Strange was a robot.
Always.
Yeah. The real Hugo Strange started plotting the systematic destruction of Batman and Bruno Wade. Strange got 3 key Wade Company, again, not a real company, but a place we live for our story, stockholders into selling their shares. This caused Wade stock to plummet, thus draining Bruno's personal finances.
Yikes.
Strange then broke into Wade Manor and induced a stroke in Bruno's butler, who fell into a coma.
Wow.
While Bruno and his ward were busy trying to help the butler, Strange committed crimes just as Batman in the Batmobile.
Wow.
Strange then seized Bruno's assets, purchased Wade Manor, issued a court order that Bruno wasn't allowed within 1,000 feet of his home. Strange then had child welfare take Bruno's ward back into their custody because the poor Bruno is not a suitable guardian. Bruno lived on the streets and thus deduced that Strange had to be behind what was happening to him because he's the only other one outside like his inner circle who knew his secret identity. And then with his ward, who he took back from Child Protective Services, he stormed Wade Manor and found replicas of Hugo Strange until he found the real one, trying to expose Bruno's secret identity via the internet. When Strange was arrested, he tried to convince Harvey Bullock that Bruno Wade is Batman. However, Bullock was told that Batman brainwashed Hugo Strange. Seems a little out of character for Batman, but
what do you do?
Yeah. As a protective measure, so that Hugo Strange thought that Batman was Bruno Wade when he actually wasn't. This pushed Strange's schizophrenic episodes to the max, and slowly started going more and more insane as his personalities began to clash over whether or not Bruno Wayne and Batman are the same person.
Wow, that is crazy. But I have another question. What is driving Hugo Strange to try and become Batman in the first place?
Well, that's a good question, Maddie. In my opinion, it's because in Hugo Strange's mind, Batman is the ultimate goodness, the Kierkegaardian knight of faith. Because the police are so corrupt, Strange doesn't even consider them in the equation of trying to stop people.
Okay, so can you explain what the Kierkegaardian knight of faith is for our viewers?
Yes, of course. The Kierkegaardian knight of faith is someone absolutely committed to their sense of morality. They have an unwavering and absolute faith in what is good, and they're willing to embrace the absurd in order to follow this faith, such as Batman donning a mask and cape to fight crime, justice, theft. In this case, Batman is so devoted to his faith in Gotham that he's willing to embrace the absurd and trust that the good of Gotham will ultimately prevail. Strange wants to become Batman because not only is he obsessed with Batman, he's obsessed with the idea of perfection and wants to be that. So in becoming Batman, he thinks he can become the image of perfection that he thinks Batman is.
Well, thank you, Dr. Shrinker, for this excellent analysis of Hugo Strange's psyche.
Thank you for having me on your show again.
Yeah, of course. We apologize for this unexpected disturbance, but I have just received word that massive, cannibalistic, mutated monsters have been set loose on the streets of Gotham. We have reason to believe that Hugo Strange is behind this, and we have a reporter live on the scene giving us real-time updates as the story unfolds. Let's cut to her now.
Thanks, Maddie. My name is Ella Scoopington, and I am reporting to you live from downtown Gotham, where we are witnessing a mob like never before. 15-foot tall, mindless mutants are terrorizing the public and generally causing mayhem in the streets of Gotham. It is believed that the 5 mutants are originally inmates from Arkham Asylum used as test subject by Hugo Strange. Our scientists believe that this was accomplished using some sort of artificial growth serum, likely involving the pituitary gland. The effects of this seem to involve an extreme increase in strength, complete destruction of their mental faculties, and an inclination towards cannibalism. Batman is on the scene and has just fought his way out of being cornered by the Monster Men. There is hope for Gotham yet. In the meantime, we recommend that everyone does as we say and not as we do. Stay off the streets.
Thank you, Ella Scoopington, for the update. It has been officially confirmed that the 5 monster men currently ravaging our streets are indeed former Arkham Asylum prisoners. Conflicting reports currently exist regarding how Strange exactly got a hold of these men. Some say they escaped at the same time as Hugo Strange and were presumed dead after the police did not hear from them afterwards. Other reports indicate that a corrupted orderly at Arkham was bribed into handing the inmates over. It appears that Strange chose these men as his victims because he knew they would not be missed. Debates surrounding the ethicality of human experimentation and genetic alteration have been highly controversial within the scientific community in the past few years, due mostly to Dr. Strange and his genetic purification and modification thesis developed at his time at Gotham University. Primarily, these conversations have surrounded the use of convicted criminals as test subjects, and whether or not they have the same rights as the general public. Many deontologists have called this into question, and the ethical implications of human genetic manipulation, regardless of the subject's criminal history. While those with a more utilitarian perspective argue that any advancements made could revolutionize the medical field as we know it. In light of this recent incident with Hugo Strange, debates are likely going to get very heated, so stay tuned to the Nightly Noir for all future updates. This just in a statement from none other than Strange himself, he says, "This is an appeal to Batman, and to Batman alone. I know who you really are beneath the mask, in more ways than one. I know you better than you know yourself. I understand you more than you think you understand yourself. I've been watching you, studying you, learning all about you. I know you so well, I could be a better version of you. You may think that you are doing the best that you can do, but you're wrong. You can never do what needs to be done. You can never be what you need to be. Gotham needs someone who has the guts to do what is necessary. Someone who is ruthless and efficient. Someone like me. We aren't that dissimilar, you and I. Both orphaned at a young age, both outcasts, both at a level above everyone else. When will you wake up and realize that you just aren't capable of doing what is necessary? I'm coming for you. I'm going to destroy you, and then I will become what you never could be." Well, there you have it, folks. Hugo Strange on his psychological understanding and what seems like a pretty serious obsession with Batman. And just when you guys thought that tonight couldn't get any wilder, we have more news from our live reporter. It seems as if Batman and Hugo Strange himself are battling on the streets of Gotham right now, We go back to Ella Scoopington for the full story.
Thanks again, Maddie. I'm here live on the scene as Batman and Hugo Strange are having a pretty intense duel. Batman has successfully defeated or trapped all the monster men that were previously terrorizing the streets. It seems that although he's putting up a fight, Hugo Strange is no match for Batman without his monsters as backup. Batman seems to be slowly backing Strange out of the city and straight towards a very precarious cliffside on the outskirts of Gotham. Let me tell you, Maddie, as much as Strange has claimed to be better than Batman in every way, based on what I'm seeing here, that doesn't seem to hold up. I'm grateful that Batman seems to have this under control, and it seems Hugo Strange has accidentally fallen off the cliffs. Well, I guess that's the end of that. Back to you, Maddie.
Well then, thanks Ella for that report. It seems that Hugo Strange might actually be dead this time. As of right now, police have not recovered his body, but it would be nearly impossible to survive a drop like that. In any case, stay tuned for all future updates on the repercussions of this latest attack. I'm your host, Maddie Microphone, and this has been The Nightly Noir. Have a peaceful evening, Gotham.